What events led to the founding of Pi Beta Phi?
Well, excuse me, let me get my voice back. Okay, so Pi Beta Phi, I think, it's unique to Monmouth because of the circumstances that surrounded the founding of Monmouth College. Monmouth was founded coeducational from the very beginning, which was quite unusual. The colleges in the Midwest that did allow women usually didn't allow them to take the same courses as men. They thought they weren't up to it, they weren't capable, or it wasn't within their realm of interest. But at Monmouth, as in Jenny's case, you could take the scientific course. You could do exactly the same things that the men did, and it just so happened that within about a half a decade after the college was founded, the Civil War broke out, and it was, all in the Midwest. Every able-bodied young man basically enlisted in the Union Army if they could. And that was certainly the case with Monmouth's student body. It was a small student body at the time, just maybe 150 or something like that. So basically, the campus was the men pretty much abandoned campus, and the college was even still under construction at that time. The old main building wasn't even built, so things were precarious. But the women were here, and they carried on, and they gained a great deal of independence. And so Jenny and about a dozen of her friends, they were very tight-knit group, and they were very independent. And they listened to President Wallace deliver a lot of his little homilies. He was very much into telling young people how they should deport themselves. And he used to talk about how he thought it was unseemly for young women and men to be walk in company with each other. It just wasn't right. And he said it's far better to go forth holding a lantern aloft independently than to be seen with a gentleman. And so a group of women took that to heart, and they formed what they called the Lantern Brigade. And they went around at night with their lantern, and they called themselves Independent Chaperones. And these were the young women that would found Pi Beta Phi. And actually, when the men came back from the war, they had met a lot of soldiers who came from East Coast colleges where fraternities were pretty common. And they decided, hey, that's we have literary societies, but they're not secret. They're not, steeped in tradition. So we want to form fraternities. And the women who were here, who'd been here all along, they said, well, if you're going to do that, we're going to do the same. And so they did. And, there was no such thing as a sorority, so they called themselves a fraternity as well. And so that group of women, they got together in the summer, they planned, and they unveiled their big idea, and then it wasn't long before it started spreading to other campuses in the Midwest, and other chapters were formed.